expectations?
Look, the expectations going into national championships was probably two things. One, it's finally real and it's finally here. We've all been through these postponements and delays over the last year or so. So to finally get down to the real competition was great, and you could definitely see the change in pressure across athletes and coaches that, Struth, we've really got to make this work. So it was great to see that finally happen and have a real outcome.
In terms of the actual performances down in Adelaide, did they live up to your expectations, and were you happy with how things went?
Yeah, look, the performance in Adelaide actually exceeded our expectations. So we try to sort of map out and plan of what we've done in the past, how people are tracking, sort of where you sort of hit with a team size, and we did better than that. Our qualifying times were made harder this year, and we had more athletes qualify. So it's a real credit to the coaches, to the athletes, to the support staff and what they've done in their daily performance environment, that they've actually stepped up to a higher benchmark.
You say that the performances were great, and it was probably no better example because you had some selection, I suppose, dilemmas. You had too many people for the positions available. How did that go?
Yeah, look, it was one of the situations. This is what the 9th games that I'm going to. We've never had this situation before, ever. We've always sort of hit pretty well right on or been a bit short with our what we have as a quota within the Paralympic sports, and we exceeded that, which is an outstanding achievement. I guess it sends the message that, and when you monitor what's happening around the world with other performances, that COVID hasn't stopped swimming performances. Performances around the world are top shelf and they're up there. So when we get to Tokyo, we need to be on our game because it's not going to be a restricted competition, it's going to be the real deal.
So we've got a great cohort of coaches selected for Tokyo. Kate Sparks as well, one of them. Tell us a little bit about the coaches on team.
Yeah, look, we stuck loyal with the coaches that we had at our last benchmark event for us, which was the World Championships. So 6 of those coaches have come through. Unfortunately, Robbie Van der Zandt had a medical episode and he's recovering really well. So he couldn't make the team, but we were keen to, I guess, just stick with them. They earned that spot, they delivered it, they were doing everything right, and they had that benchmark experience. Kate comes out of the program with Robbie, and we really feel that you just need a range of different staff within your team. I like seeing variability within our coaches, and if you just look at them, Yuri's different to Harley, who's different to Clinton, different to Jono, different to Nathan. They all bring something different to the program, and that's what you need in those benchmark events. If we're all cut the same way, it's going to be really restrictive in terms of the needs of the athletes within that specific environment. So having variability is something that I think is really important to the team dynamics and overall team performance.
There's been a bit of uncertainty just in the last few days around COVID, and you're relocating some athletes into Queensland. Tell us what happens between now and when you get into staging camp.
This COVID thing, it's affecting everyone in everybody's life, and as a sports person, we're no different to, a family or a worker. We've had to make changes, and it's really impacted our preparations. So, for example, with the latest outbreak in New South Wales, we've had to relocate all of our coaching staff. So there's 3 coaches there, Clinton, Jono and Greg, and then those are connected swimmers in that area. So we've got them in a safe zone at the moment. So they've unfortunately had to move out of home 2 weeks earlier than planned. It makes the campaign now an extra long campaign, and it's going to be demanding on coaches, on support staff and the athletes, particularly when we get into that pressure environment of Tokyo. And we all keep saying it, but we really don't know. It's going to be different to every games we've been at, and we've just got to expect the unexpected.
I think there's a genuine desire from the Australian community and particularly the swimming community for the para team to do well. What are your expectations going into Tokyo?
Yeah, look, I think when you can perform in sport or other factors in normal life, it just does that. It brings some normality back. We're in the midst of this pandemic, and life can be all negative and things are bad, but if we can switch back to, here's some things that we enjoy, and Olympics and Paralympics, they're top shelf. They're the biggest show going around, and to be part of that and to get that back in our lives, I think is good for everyone's health. In terms of our performances, look, they're going to be hard. They're always hard. This one's going to throw in some extra curveballs in terms of compliance and what COVID does, but the fact that we've had our strongest and hardest selection criteria, and we over subscribed in that situation, I think puts us in a good shape and good preparation for the biggest event going around. You just never know what's going to happen when you get there.
Any particular athletes that stand out for you that we should watch out for?
Oh, look, I just love the mixture that you get. You have the seasoned campaigners, like Lucky and Anneli Cole, those ones, Brendan Hall, you just love watching them perform. They know what to do, they can sort of guide your way through. But an equal mixture, I just love seeing the rookies, because it's that they don't know what's happening, and they just get up and have a crack, and that raw talent and excitement is just a pleasure to watch, and you get them in a positive experience, which is what we really push for within our teams, that they get it and they get hooked and they just want to come back. So hopefully we give all our team members a positive experience, that they get through Tokyo 21, and then we're on next year, Commonwealth Games and World Championships in 22, World Champs in 23, and then Paris in 24. So that cycle's really quick in that next phase. So we've got to come out with some positives out of Tokyo.
Well, all the best, Brendan. We'll all be cheering for you over in Tokyo, and I hope it goes superbly well for you.
Look, thank you, and thanks to all the support back home and through ASCA. It really makes a difference to, the way we operate, the way we structure. It just gives you that extra level of professionalism which is needed in sport. So, thank you.